Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Neremik and welcome back to more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I am all by this episode is months late. It takes too long to explain why. Let's get into it. So we're in Winterbanks and we are yet to explore most of the area, so I figure, you know what? Let's start over here and work our way to the left. Starting with this calendar. That's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th of April, today's date. Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It is an Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Winterbank. And who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before? Well, when the agreed storage period has passed without repayments, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say. Oh yes, I can see you're very dedicated to your job. Okay, up next, this weird thing. Now what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? It seems to have two little windows forking through. Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you were looking at is a stereoscope. A stereoscope? Fascinating. It isn't apt and aimed, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself. Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look. Just before you do, there is something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly stereoscopically, as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today. Alright then, I'm going to try it. Ah! Oh, Mr. Naruto, you must see! At once! Alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my nose? What the? I don't believe it! It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it. Yes, a sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They are often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them. Why? Why are people meddling with such black magic? It is no magic, my dear madame. It is, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day. Oh. Okay, Sholmes, okay. An alarm-looking thing here. Okay, so look at this. Whatever could it be used for? I have no idea. Ah! There's a small catch here. Look. We're gonna open it, aren't we? Oh my, that's amazing! It has some sort of spring-loaded mechanism, which we'll never manage to put back to the way it was before. What are you two doing? What? Us? Nothing. No, nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel as though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere. Okay, up next. Seems none of this is of interest. General wall of stuff then. What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks and watches. Almost anything you could care to imagine. Those are forfeited items offered for sale by the pawnbroker. What does that really mean, though? When you pawn, or colloquially pop, an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. You source the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. He is free to display it in his shop for sale at a price of his choosing. Oh, yeah, now you've explained it, I'm noticing all the price tags and everything. Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So, you may put on that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow. My treasured university uniform? Never! It embodies my student spirit. Okay, Sholmes. And last thing on this side of the room. Look at this! What could this lovely big shiny box be? That, my dear madame, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country. Oh my, yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before. Shall we listen a while? Ah, What a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels. I never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There is a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played. My goodness! What a simply delightful machine. Indeed. Though the popularity has waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course. Science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. What? Only tuppence for it? That ain't fair and you know it! This article's barely worth the penny, miss. I cannot offer more. So there's an argument brewing over by the counter. Come on, that can't be right. Had you even had a proper butcher's at it? I see no one need to see, young girl. Wait, don't we know... I'm sure I recognise her. Oh, yes, it's the young lady from Mr. McGildich's trial 2 months ago. Her name is Gino Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds rather than people with their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. See, it's funny in game that they say that trial was 2 months ago when we finished it like 6 ago. Anyway, ... Gordon Bennett, who are you lot? Hello, Miss Lestrade. We hope you've been well. What? You remember me then, do you? Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke, and that's for sure. So, what are you lot doing in here? Down and out, like the rest of us. Nothing to eat. Come to pluck that black weasel. Sorry, coat, have you? What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it? Ah, good day, unless I'm mistaken. You wouldn't be the young pickpocket who saw our experimental smoke grenade launcher. Mr. Sholmes. So, you have something of value to pawn, do you? Allow me to see the article and I shall negotiate with Mr. Winterbank on your behalf. Pull out the other one, I don't need some help for some stuck-up day. Get out of me business, go on, I'll make trouble for you. As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence. Okay, sorry about that, I'm trimming ahead because I let out a sneeze, which I don't think anyone would want to hear through that mic. But, he's really done it. He's gone. I'm sorry, but as I said, there really is no room for negotiation here. What is that thing he has in his hand? Some kind of metal disc? And you! Go on, leave me alone. Oh, Miss Lestrade, just pretend we aren't here. You shan't be offended in the slightest. Susato-san can really stand her ground when she wants to. Whatever. Okay, converse then. Pawnbroker's customer. Somehow I didn't really think you were the sort of person who'd use a pawnbroker, Miss Lestrade. Yeah, well I am alright. I'm a Londoner just like everyone else. That's a problem, is it? No, not at all. It's just that, well... Oh, I get it. I know what you're thinking. That thing probably don't even belong to her. Probably got it on the dive, didn't she? Yeah, I can see it written all over your Chevy Chase. Well, I might have been thinking something along those lines. You're not going to deny it, Mr. Naruto. Alright then, I'm just gonna come out and ask you straight. Do you pawn things that you steal from other people? Well, I know best to answer that really. Suppose. Sometimes. You're not going to deny it either, Miss Lestrade. But not this time, alright? I swear, that thing belongs to me. The disc that Mr. Winterbank is holding. Perhaps we should see what it has to say about all this. Okay, so examine, see what the Winterbank says. What is on this disc, and can we play it? Right, Miss Lestrade's disc. Mr. Winterbank, what exactly is this metal disc that Miss Lestrade has brought in? It seems to have hundreds of tiny little bumps on its surface. Ah, this is a music disc, you see. Fused inside of a music box. In a music box. What? You don't even know what a music box is? You Eastern lot ain't too savvy, eh? I know what a music box is. I've just never seen one of these discs before. The small protrusions on the middle disc encode the time to be played by the music box. You simply insert the disc and set the machine going. Look how beautifully music plays.
It's so incredible. Tell us what tune is on this disc.
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. There are so many different types of music box, you see. British-made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for.
Ah, I see.
And that's it in a nutshell. I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. Really, I'm already offering more than I should. It's a penny.
That's a packet of lies. He told me it did. He said it was, well...
He? Who?
And never you mind, it should ain't right, that's all. That disc's worth good money, I know it is.
Well then, you'll have to try your looks at another pawnbrokers, won't you?
Oh! Okay, and Gina Lestrade.
She's been in before, of course, this little talented alien. I see. And brought some dubious article or other with her every single time, I might add.
Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm an honest customer, me.
So, is there something dubious about the disc she brought in today? Well, if only it were that simple.
Sorry, what do you mean?
What she actually brought in was a storage ticket.
Ah, a storage ticket, so... Mr. Lestrade has actually come to redeem an article from you today, is that right? Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has a lot of stuff that needs storing.
Alright?
Yeah, that's definitely dubious.
The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight, but as she gave me the ticket for it and repaid both the loan and the interest, I was obligated to return the article to her.
But what was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Winterbank.
Well, the scamp is wearing it, ma'am. It's the overcoat that she redeemed.
Oh. What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's mine, so of course it does. So, what about the disc then? How does that come into all of this?
Ah, the disc is something else. A new article to pawn if the girl and I can agree a price.
New article to pawn then. I'm confused. I thought you said that Miss Lestrade brought in the storage ticket today.
It's really quite simple. Yes, the child brought me a storage ticket and the money owed on it, as you say.
For the heavy black coat, which she returned to her care, as I understand it.
That's right, yes. And rather unsurprisingly, as soon as little Ragamuffin put the thing on, she went rifling through the pockets.
Oh, you mean... What? Don't you know it's rude to stare at someone? Ah, I see. So it came from the pockets of the overcoat, did it?
If you read this disc, then yes, exactly, ma'am.
And she immediately tried to pawn it. For quite a high price as well. This is rather suspicious, I think. Give it up. I'm trying to pawn something like anyone else would. Miss Lestrade, may I ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place? Well... It doesn't really appear to be your size. Me old man. It's me old man's, ain't it? Is it Miss Lestrade?
Yes, this definitely is all rather suspicious. Out of my way, please. Who's this picture postcard English gentleman? Good day to you, ladies, gentlemen.
What's your problem, eh?
There is no problem, as long as you remove yourself. I have a matter to discuss with the proprietor.
Ugh.
And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for all the hiding you deserve.
Look, ain't it obvious? I ain't done talking with him yet. If you think you're such a giant, you should know how to wait in line.
Well, you are an impudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket.
Eh? Well, who are you? How do you know who I am?
The question is, how do you not know who I am? Oh, you haven't the courtesy to even remember the faces of your victims, it seems.
Oh, what? You mean, from you?
Broker? Oh, yes, sir. I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you now. Yes, the article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once.
Oh my. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel, and needless to say, any music box discs too.
Oh, no, you can't have it. You just can't. It's me old man's. Or it was. Now it's mine.
Goodness, Mr. Naruto.
This is a very awkward situation.
Yes. I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. Okay. So, first things first, converse. Gentleman's accusation.
Miss Lestrade, what is the gentleman saying? What do you think? It's all lies, ain't it? I swear all my life, I ain't never laid eyes on that dandy before.
Let's hear it now, you little ragamuffin. You stole it, didn't you? That ticket you brought in here just now.
No, I swear it. I swear to God.
It was barely an hour ago. I was walking along the street minding my own business, when this little guttling ran into me. I knew at once what had happened. Having robbed yet again, I thought to myself. Those wretched pickpockets.
Yet again.
Oh yes, as you can see, I am a man of impeccable style. This isn't the first time I've been targeted by these backslum scoundrels. Now then, relinquish my overcoat. Come on now, Miss Lestrade, give the good gentleman his coat back. If you're going to cause trouble, I shall have no choice but to call the police.
Hold on, why does everyone think it's me? Just look at this dandy cove, do you think I'm the dodgy one?
I'm sorry, but no one's going to believe you.
Well, what about evidence? Yeah. Where's your evidence that I've stolen something, eh? Come on, let's see it.
Oh, I have evidence, naturally.
You what?
Okay, evidence. This is looking bad. Evidence that the article Miss Lestrade redeemed actually belongs to this gentleman?
Of course. We only need to consult Mr. Winterbank's ledger to know the truth. We'll be able to look up the name of the person who deposited the article in the first place. Yes! Brilliant!
I'm very sorry, but I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Oh?
I never ask customers' names. It's a strict policy of mine.
But why not?
Well now, as you can imagine, some of my customers have circumstances to consider. And very many of them prefer to maintain their anonymity.
Yes, I see. But then how can you know if an article belongs to the person asking to redeem it?
Oh, it's quite simple. Good sir, might I trouble you for the watchword associated with the article in question? Of course, it's Professor. Yes, that's right. And all the evidence we need. The gentleman is the rightful owner of the article, without doubt. A watchword? Interesting. Okay, watchwords. Gina would have had to know that to redeem the coat, so, So, about these watchwords, Mr. Winterbank. As I just explained, I never ask customers' names when they deposit items with me. There are many reasons why. Certain customers wouldn't like to keep their activities secret. That wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Sholmes now, was it?
Great detectives have no dark secrets, not at all.
Yes, well, anyway, that's why I always ask for a watchword whenever I accept a new article. In many ways, it's like the secret combination of numbers used to unlock a vault. The date of deposit, description, and the watchword uniquely identify each item. And of course, then I give the storage ticket to the customer. When someone comes to redeem something, I ask for the ticket and the watchword. And if that someone tells you the correct watchword, you return the article? That's right, sir. Yes, just as soon as the requisite fee is paid. And I have supplied you with the information you require already, but for the avoidance of doubt, the article in question is an overcoat deposited 2 months ago on the 15th of February. With its watchword of Professor. All perfectly correct information, sir.
But how?
Really, this is beyond a joke now. There is no further room for doubt. Ugh. Okay. This doesn't seem very good, so we'll see what you have to say, if anything. Picture postcard gentleman. Excuse me, but who are you? One would expect the inquirer to introduce himself first. Though clearly you're not British, so perhaps our ways are foreign to you. Oh, sorry. Yes, we're from the Empire of Japan. We're studying here. Oh yes, Japan. Never talk of the place. Its inhabitants live on some fiery brown cold soup, dressed up with exotic spices. You might be thinking of somewhere else. And what was that theatrical gesticulation about? Perhaps. Anyway, if you are a gentleman, sir, you offer your own first name before inquiring the name of another. Of course, yes. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer. Well, a student of law, really. My name is Sasagami Kotoba. I am Mr. Naruhodo's assistant. I see. My name is Benedict. Yes, Egert Benedict. Enchanté. He's so refined in how he holds himself and how he speaks, but that name is suspicious. Now, to the matter at hand. My overcoat. Return it at once. To someone with the style to carry it off. Every move he makes, every breath he takes, I can't stand watching him. So, let there be an end to the matter. And thank you for your custom, Mr. Egert Benedict, sir. With such reasonable rates of interest, I may even decide to come back. This is why I hate grown-ups. Just because I'm a diver, everyone thinks that makes me a liar. And the contents of the coat pockets, if you please, broker. But of course, sir. Here's the disc for you. Just this one? Pardon, sir? I was expecting another. That is, I deposited another. Another disc? Oh dear. I regret to inform you, sir, that is what was deposited with me. It was merely the overcoat. The disc happened to be in one of the pockets, but I was completely unaware of it until now. So, Gutling, you're hiding more of what's rightfully mine, are you? Says who, eh? I don't know nothing about it. Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style. Wait a minute. That disc is mine. What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drunk blood, you filthy animal. Oh my, yes, there's blood on the disc. It's all because of those sharp little bumps. That man must have scratched his finger on them. I found it first, alright. I mean, it belonged to me, old man. So you're not having it. Or you? You take it. Me? If I hang on to it, they'll have it off me again. So you keep hold of it. Miss Lestrade, why is this disc so important to her? The music box disc has been entered into the court record. You there, in the back library. Hand that disc to me at once, please. No, don't. He's lying. Grown-ups are all liars. What do I do now? I'm gonna resolve this. Okay, well, we can speak to everyone else. Or get your ass over here. Mr. Sholmes. What are you examining with such keen interest there? Did you enjoy a bar of caramel, I see? So, you found me at last, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry. After that young pickpocket sent me on my way, I was forced to lurk in the shadows. Cruelly ostracized as the rest of you partook in the jovial atmosphere of fellowship. I had nothing to occupy my mind, but was too ashamed to let society see what my downfall had done to me. So feigning mock interest, I pretended to examine the tedious trinkets in this desolate place. Whilst, as you shrewdly observed, gnawing on the only friend I have left, this 7% solution of caramel. Pray, do you claim to understand the depths of my despair, Mr. Naruto? But how could you? I was so lonely, so desperately lonely.
Then why on earth didn't you rejoin the conversation? Things have gone from bad to worse here, you know.
Yes, I overheard much of your conversation. Or rather, in my craving for human contact, my ears were devouring every word that was uttered. You really were sad, weren't you?
Poor Mr. Sholmes. I simply feel awful for you.
It would seem that my inherent inferences are correct.
Oh, sure you're not about to tell us that you've solved the entire case once again.
My dear madame, sometimes I wonder, were my genius of deduction to be commoditized? How much could I pawn it for? It seems Mr. Sholmes has had another of his flashes of inspiration, but who knows if it'll help resolve the situation between Miss Lestrade and the mysterious gentleman. What's the right thing to do here? Listen to the deduction. Well, Miss Lestrade, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament.
Tch, when in the blue blazes have you been, eh?
Pardon?
When a lady's in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there to help. Straight away. Not now,
Harsh. And who, pray tell, are you? Mr. Eggert Benedict. You have, in my eyes, a veritably encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn. I beg your pardon. The first is this. The true reason for your visit to this pawnbrokery today is for something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation when you will orchestrate with intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you to my deductions?
Ow. You turn white as a hard-boiled egg. It would seem that once again, Mr. Sholmes has made a false deduction.
Just who do you think you are, sir? Ah, yes, as I hoped. That is precisely the pained expression I was looking for. So, shall we begin? The time has come for yet another Hillock Sholmes. Logic and reasoning spectacular. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Mystery Man's aim. First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you ventured to this pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the streets. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by which that you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the staff recruitment flyer. The piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement from this very shop. Yes, even the most unobservant would soon realize this man of your appearance has no need for such employ. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane which you unwittingly clutched to your person exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot! I have had this cane for years! The contradiction of which I speak of is, of course, the missing ferrule. The end of any walking cane will be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet, detailed analysis shows the wooden tip of this stick to be utterly bare. Therefore, there is only one conclusion. What you hold in your hand, which appears to be a walking cane, is in fact no cane at all. You recoil, sir. There's something wrong. And in your recoiling, you would inadvertently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. The moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle? You sigh. But of course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that rod. It's the broken handle of a shovel. What? Are you insane? And now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion is clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employment at this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath the premises. What a calculated crime you have conceived, sir. A wickedly calculated crime indeed. So the conclusion, to tunnel underneath the pawnbrokery. And on to topic 2. Great crime. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest this high gentleman intend to excavate the ground beneath this pawnbrokery with a broken shovel? What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? Some long-forgotten treasure, I suppose? Save for such a fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say? Oh, but there is ample reason. As you were only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more than telling than I could have hoped. What? Well, let's consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this and covertly dig beneath its floor. The answer is revealed by the council notice on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. This letter gives notice of public works to be carried out in the local area. And according to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewerage works, beneath this shop runs a sewer that adjoins another, one that runs under the bank on the opposite side of the road. This madness has entered the sewers now, has it? By excavating the ground beneath our feet, you would gain access to the waterway that flows in very close proximity to the great vault of the financial institution opposite. What are you? In summary, sir, you devised a master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by the dint of underground tunnels. But a master plan? Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. With what plunder did the thief hope to make off from the underground vault of the bank? Are you quite serious? Having consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. But naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather increasingly interesting piece of information. You see, this picture postcard tells us all we need to know. A postcard of the Great Exhibition? I'm afraid you've lost me. Currently, in the final stages of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway, and the government has provided extra funds to complete its centrepiece, the Crystal Tower. Funds that currently sit in the vault of the bank on the other side of this road. But pardon? Yes, the considerable crime you've been contemplating is the theft of that which sits in the vault of that bank, the Special Reserve Fund for the Great Exhibition. Of course, that is top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please. So, conclusion. To steal the Great Exhibition's funds. This concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this pawnbroking puzzle. Mr. Sholmes. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, an impressively upbeat deduction for the detective racked with loneliness, would you not agree? Was it true that what you said about the bank over the road and what it has in its vaults? Indeed, though few know of its existence, it is one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Gregson told me, in the strictest confidence. But you just announced it to everyone here. Rather loudly, in fact. Ah. And if it's such a big secret, how would Mr. Benedict have come to find out about it? There can be one explanation for that. Clearly, it is because the man is a criminal.
But what if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? If he is a criminal, as you said, then buying a brand new shovel is sure to be the first thing he does now that you've revealed the secrets.
Oh. Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Winterbank will. He already has plenty of shovels here, after all. Oh my life, I assure you I'm not some scrumptious. Well, hopefully this has taught you a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost of care. One can never be sure that someone privy to secrets won't disclose them, and once the word is out, it's out. Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding in you next time, Mr. Sholmes. An excellent idea, Mr. Naruto. An excellent idea.
Well then, Mr. Naruto, you know what to do, I'm sure. Yes, let's listen to that great deduction again and see if we can massage it into shape.
Very well then, let's start once more from the beginning. Of Herlock Sholmes' magnificent logic and reasoning spectacular.
And here we go. Round 2. Course correction.
Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
Okay.
Also, I'm not going to do this with Sholmes' voice, that'll hurt. So, first of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you ventured to this pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having the redemption ticket stolen from you on the streets. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to the shop in the first place is the staff recruitment flyer. So, by Mr. Sholmes' reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for a job so he could dig down through the floor?
Yes, in an attempt to tunnel into the sewers to gain access to the money in the vault across the bank off the road.
But he wouldn't get very far with a broken shovel, would he?
No, I think it's fair to say his motives lie elsewhere.
The question is, where? What did Mr. Benedict bring here at this particular point in time? Okay, turn it around, and we've got a scribbled writing, but
Oh, look at all the scribbled notes on the back of the flyer here.
I don't believe it.
What is it?
Listen to what it says. Name, Gina Lestrade, height 5'2". Green cap, scruffy waistcoat, grubby white shirt, blue satchel, ragged. It's a detailed description of Miss Lestrade.
Goodness!
There's even a sketch of her hat and all. Although if he showed it to her, she'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in his face for sure.
And look, the details of the shop have been written down here too. Winterbank's Pawnbrokery, Baker Street, redemption deadline 15th of April.
Which is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrawled on the back of that piece of paper? I don't know, but something to go off. Take that! Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the info about Miss Lestrade. Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writing and sketch on the reserve of the flyer pertains to the pickpocket Miss Lestrade and to Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery here. You originally told us that you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you. But that, sir, is a thinly veiled lie. It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you here today, by which I mean here to Winterbank's pawnbrokery, and today the redemption deadline of that overcoat. So you waited outside for the young girl matching the description you'd written down to arrive. And you have gone to some lengths to hide the reason for your pursuit of Miss Lestrade. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane, which you unwittingly clutched to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot! I've had this cane for years! The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the missing ferrule. We know it's not. What's a ferrule?
It's a metal cap commonly found on the end of a cane, Mr. Naruto.
Ah, the bit that makes a nice clacking sound on the pavement?
Yes, exactly. And Mr. Sholmes is right, it appears to be missing on this cane.
But it doesn't actually look broken, does it?
No, it doesn't. Though the gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Sholmes identified the cane as suspicious.
In other words, there's some secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we don't know. I believe it should be the initials. Yes. Take that! Gotcha! It's AG, not EB. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the initialing. A most astute observation, wouldn't you say, Mr. Eggert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are EB. Yet in a most possessive manner, you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials AG. An incontrovertible contradiction indeed, would you not agree? No, you're wrong. This cane isn't. You said before that you'd had that cane for years. Senator Reds tells that you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in a park. In short. Now you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you too have withheld your true name. You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? Aye. And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. I don't think it is. Let's consider the bare bones of what's happened here. Miss Lestrade redeemed that fine-looking overcoat, and now a mysterious man has appeared introducing himself with a fake name, and claiming that the overcoat belongs to him. But we know that he actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written description, which suggests that everything else he told us is untrue. So what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. Well, I think that's a good giveaway. The split seam, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. Ah! Yes, because the overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit. Having it forced over your broad shoulders, the seam is already breaking apart. My suspicions were aroused from the outset. When you so badly lied about your name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. Oh. This catalogue of untruths has been all for one very specific purpose. To steal the article that the young girl redeemed from Mr. Winterbank. But what really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed. So the new conclusion, to abscond with a redeemed item. And time for round 2 then. Our music picks up. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. First, must expose the details of this elaborate crime that you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, gentlemen, designed a wheeze to filch some tawdry article of pawnage. Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article in the proper manner using the watchword? Had it not been the one to deposit it in the first place, how could I have possibly known the relevant details in this say pass? Oh, but the watchword can be discovered. As you were only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, when your furtive glance is more than telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider how one might come to learn a secret watchword relating to the poor and prosperity of another. The method is revealed by the council notes on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. Okay, so this is all new dialogue then, so I'll voice it. The direction of the deduction must change rather drastically now, I think. Yes, no more talk of tunnelling into the sewers. Which is a pity, because it all sounded rather exciting. Anyway, you can't deny that this mysterious gentleman did know the watchword. Yes, Professor. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Winterbank wouldn't have allowed you to redeem the article. Or, looking at it another way, if you did know that word, Mr. Winterbank would allow you to redeem the article whether it was yours or not. So the question is, could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? Yes, I believe. Oh, okay. So what we got? Piss, Porus, Old Lamp. I thought it was the ledger, but apparently not. Notelet. What is this? Look at this, Mr. Sato. Ah, it appears to be a memo that Mr. Winterbank has scrambled to himself. Let's see. What does it say? Oh, Professor. Mr. Winterbank must take note of the watchwords his customers give him right before their eyes. And in alarmingly clear script as well. Oh dear. I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secrets I might see? Well.
Take that!
The method is revealed by the notes on the counters which rise were inadvertently drawn. Yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whenever a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customer for the watchword and notes down the response such on notes as he has to hand. Then he consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. I would expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker. But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages. What are you talking about? It is increasingly apparent that you were present in the shop before your accusation against Mr. Lestrade. In all likelihood, you followed her inside and then observed her talking to Mr. Winterbank. When the diligent broker made a note of the watchword, as in his common practice, you observed him writing the word Professor on the notes beside the ledger. And that, sir, was the master plan you devised to steal the pawn article from the young Miss Lestrade. Master plan? Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. Why would you go to such lengths to redeem that particular article from this pawnbroker? Are you quite serious? For an ill-fitting overcoat hardly seems to justify the effort, much less a worthless music box disc. But naturally, you had very good reason to make them yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us all we need to know. Okay, the articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that was in one of the pockets, which according to Mr. Winterbank isn't even worth a penny, and yet this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why? I wonder if it perhaps... We already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Narado. Could we? Really? I better have a thorough look through all the evidence we've collected so far. Okay. Armband, music box disc.
Take that!
Yep, it bounced off because I needed to examine it. Good. Okay, we're gonna speed through this. I know my deduction was waning. Oh, I'm doing so well. I'm doing so well. I know I have to examine it because there's a thing on the back, but... Oh. Fine. Okay. So. Okay, this man has used some fairly high-handed measures to try and get his hands on the overcoats of the disc. He certainly doesn't want either for their monetary value either. Still, they must be of value somehow to someone. This is the last piece of this puzzle. I better have another look through the evidence and see if there are any clues hiding. Okay, so this time I'm going to examine the music box disc, spin it right on around, see the note, who's it to? Oh, there's a little scrap of paper stuck onto the reverse of the disc. Look! And a scribbled word or two. It looks like somebody's name. For McGilded? McGilded? I couldn't be... But it is Mr. Naruto. A name I shall never forget, for as long as I live. But why? Why is his name on this? The music box disc's information has been updated in the court record. Well then.
Take that!
You see, this music box disc tells us all we need to know. What's that on the back? It reads, for McGilded. Oh. Ah, Magnus McGilded. The unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, though his warmongering demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So, you're an associate of his, are you? Or perhaps a subordinate? Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature. In fact, he was precisely the right size for that overcoat you've squeezed yourself into. Your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Eggert Benedict, but the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reason you came to this pawnbrokery today was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded. To acquire an item deposited by Mr. McGilded. Deduction complete. Elementary. Well, well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not only am I expected here in these circumstances.
Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there's something very troubling on my mind.
Pray tell, Mr. Sato.
Well, according to what Mr. Winterbank told us earlier, today was the final day on which the coat could have been redeemed, was it not?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Today will be precisely 2 months since it was first deposited. Well, today is the 15th of April, so 2 months ago today would have been the 15th of February, sir. That's right. It's all carefully recorded in my ledger. Deposited at 10:30 p.m, I see.
What? But that suggests... Yes, 15th of February. It's precisely the day on which the omnibus murder took place. At 10:30 in the evening. It's precisely the time in which the terrible events were unfolding.
Suggestive is not the word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond coincidence. You are, of course, at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose, however. I must insist you hand over the music box disc now. It'd be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box.
What do I do?
Absolutely not. Some things a man must protect at all costs. This may well be one of those things.
Then again, it may not.
Mr. Winterbank, this is my shop. I can't allow any harm to come to my customers. If that were to happen, I should have to take my own life. Mr. Winterbank, no! Alright, that's enough. Inspector Gregson. Inspector? That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our 4 dedicated emergency lines, so we got as fast as we could. Now, what's all this about, eh? Oh, praise be, you're here at last. I was months away from forfeiting my own life in my own very own establishment. It would seem you have the upper hand. Right, you all got some explaining to do. I don't appreciate being bothered with some petty argy-bargy.
A petty? Mr. Winterbank very nearly met his end.
Yeah, by his own gun, as far as I can tell. Oh dear. The old Britain could meet with its end if I don't get to the bottom of this case I'm supposed to be working on. What? What on earth is the case, Inspector? Spare no detail, Gregson. I might have said a little too much. No matter. There's nothing to do with you what. Anyway, sir, you're gonna have to come with me down to the station. But of course, Inspector. Ah! He's getting away! Get after him, lads. Whistle the beat officer, too. Sir! There's been a spate of thefts at pawn shops around here recently. So we fitted emergency buttons under all the counters for brokers to let us know when there's trouble. Oh, Inspector, I was worried there for a while. Very worried indeed. Now then, Mr. Permanently in mourning. Oh, yeah? I'm taking that whatever it is of Mr. McGill is down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over. Oh yes, of course.
No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is. Mine.
I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to Mr. McGill, it has to be taken as evidence now. As evidence? If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector. And so we handed Mr. McGilded's disc over to Inspector Gregson, and was summarily turfed out of the shop and onto the street. And I believe that's going to hit us with a to be continued. Perfect. 55 minutes. Jeez, I've enjoyed doing the voices though. Sorry if I was a little out of it, I am aware it's been like a month and a half as usual, but I'll try and run the ball with it, because that was honestly a lot more fun than I remember that case being. So, I'm going to end this one here. If you have enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Feel free to help, like, do all that stuff. Helps a bunch, makes me see more, and all that good stuff. I'm aware of how badly I fumbled that line. Don't need to remind me. But until next time, all set all aside, thanks for watching, guys. My name's been Neremik, and peace out.